What is up, Packer fans? Back again. Here we are. I think it's week 12 of the 2024 NFL season. The Packers are facing off against the 49ers at Lambeau. We get the San Francisco 49ers at home. We get them at Lambeau this time. They're not playing as well. After going into San Francisco last year and getting knocked out in the divisional round of the playoffs, after playing really well, Aaron Jones got caught from behind again, and we ended up not scoring a touchdown on that drive. And the 49ers, we know how it went. So anyway, this time around, Packers are 7-3. They're at home. The San Francisco 49ers are 5-5. They are not playing as well as they had last year at this point of the season, and obviously going into the playoffs when we faced them. Christian McCaffrey was out for most of the season so far. He is back. He is playing a little bit more. He is playing better. He still is not to his full self yet. I think we're catching the Niners at a good time. Hopefully we can knock them out before they even get going this season. Brock Purdy coming off of one of his worst games. Not a lot of picks, but just not a lot of yards. He had been really consistent this season for the most part, especially playing with different receivers. They haven't had Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel was out for a little bit. We all know Purcell was shot and then came back. So for the 49ers, just not the season they've liked or would have liked to have. But for the Packers, it comes down to what can they do this week to stop the 49ers from getting or stealing a win at Lambeau. Obviously, Jordan Love coming off a game where he did throw an interception. He really kind of, the effort he showed running the football, throwing his shoulder into guys. This guy's 6'4", over 220 pounds. He is a solid dude. He's going to lay it down on the guys when he gets a chance to, and obviously LaFleur would like him to protect himself, but I like seeing that out of my quarterback. I like seeing him be aggressive when he can. Obviously, you got to be safe. But for the Packers, run the ball more. You got to run the ball more. Josh Jacobs, only 76 yards rushing against the Bears. I think he had like a 4.2 yard average. If we could have got the ball to him a little bit more, that would have been nice. Obviously, possessions were at a premium against the Bears. We just didn't get a lot of possessions overall. I think it was 3 in the first half if you don't count the kneel down, and then not many more than that in the second half. Obviously, that's because the Bears held the ball and we couldn't stop them, and back and forth it went a little bit. And when we did get our chances, we tried to do the most of what we could, and then obviously not getting a touchdown on that fourth down and conversion. Kind of a weird call there, but LaFleur stood by it and stands by it. So, I thought there were some questionable calls that LaFleur had in the game, going for it there. Kind of a weird play call system, doing that little kind of jet sweep with Jaden Reed right there. It's just so condensed down there. It's kind of hard to get that play working. You got to have some threat of guys going deep for that play to kind of work. But anyway, for the Packers, I think, obviously Christian Watson stepping up huge. Just what a huge game for Watson. 4 catches, 150 yards. Dobbs had 1 grab for like 17 yards. Reed had, I think, 2 grabs for not many more yards than that. So those guys have to get going. Reed started so hot. He was one of the hottest receivers in the league to start the season. And through the first 4 weeks, I think he led the league in receiving yards. So it'll be nice to see him get back going again. And then Dontavian Wicks has not been part of the equation a lot this season, which, for the Packers, I think this could be good that the Packers are winning without any of these guys really having crazy seasons, because that means that they're still going to want to be part of the team. They're still going to want to keep showing that they can do things. Maybe some guys will get disgruntled in the offseason, but I hope this unit stays together. I love what I see out of Wicks. He just has to start catching the ball more and be a little more consistent. His route running is exceptional. Obviously, Dobbs comes to play, and he can be a playmaker when need be. And Watson, what he did against the Bears, he is the playmaker that we needed him to be. Has to step up and continue to do so. And then, Dobbs, just keep doing what he does. Obviously, kind of a slow, low game for him against the Bears. But, again, not a lot of chances. I think Jordan Love had 13 completions in 17 attempts. So, just not a lot of offense, especially because you didn't get to run the ball much, didn't get to throw the ball much. Not a lot of possessions, and then the big plays kind of, obviously the big plays to Watson. His average was 37.5 yards per catch. So for him, in big plays, that kind of takes away from other stats from other guys. But he had a big game, and, awesome for him. I think that he's the guy that needs to continue to step up. But for the Packers offense, Tucker Kraft, he didn't get any catches either. The tight ends didn't get involved at all. But this offensive line, giving Jordan Love time, they really are playing well as a unit. Rasheed Walker there at left tackle. Who would have thought, a 7th-round pick out of Penn State, a guy that played left tackle in college, but a guy that you did not think would be the starting left tackle for this team when he was drafted. Obviously, we had Bakhtiari back then. But anyway, so at left guard, Elkin Jenkins playing great. Josh Myers playing great at center. Then Sean Ryan being plugged into that right guard spot. Jordan Morgan on IR now. And so Sean Ryan playing great at right guard. And then right tackle, Zach Tom. Just really no issues up front. Sometimes some pre-snap penalties. But these guys have been playing great. And they're just going to keep getting better as a unit. And they're young. And they're growing together. And they got Elkin Jenkins that kind of lead the way. And so it's really a solid unit for the Packers. And like I said, just keep running this football. It's going to start getting colder out. We're going to be at Lambeau here and there. So, and then other outdoor games during the season. So I think running the football, controlling the clock, playing good offense on the offensive line, playing good line play. And then for the Packers defense, they need to start stepping up a little bit more. Obviously, the Bears pretty much played their best game of the season against us, and Caleb Williams looked better than he had all season. Especially the week prior, he was sacked 9 times, and this week he rushed for his most yards in his career, or in a game for so far in his rookie season. So for the Packers on defense, Rashawn Gary did get a sack. Finally got a sack. I've been calling him out for a few weeks now. He was sitting at 2.5 for a while. Got his 3.5. That was a big play. He kind of the camera zoomed in on him when he was when his helmet was all messed up, and it's kind of a cool shot. So for him, very exciting. I love seeing that out of Rashawn. And Egbari almost had a sack, and then Brenton Cox had a sack, and Egbari on third. They call him Kingsley, well JJ, but his name's Kingsley, and Egbari. He had the jump over Williams, and Williams was able to get away and complete the pass on 3rd and 19. That would have made it 4th and very long, and would have put the game pretty much out of reach at that point. Obviously, we blocked the kick, but Brenton Cox, I was almost going to talk about him. He had a sack, had a tackle for a loss. This guy is a guy that I've been bringing up throughout the last 2 seasons since we got him undrafted out of Florida or Georgia or whatever I don't know what they consider him coming out of. But so he is a guy that was undrafted but could have been a first-round pick, and the Packers have him. And you see what he can do in the little bit of time that they gave him against the Bears. So I look to see him continue to progress. Obviously, Preston Smith is gone like we talked about, and so just not enough from Lucas Van Ness. Didn't see a whole lot out of him. I need to see more out of him. And then obviously up front with Gary and Clark, just those guys are playing great. And then, Mosby and, other guys just kind of stepping up. Adrian Cooper playing really well, flying around. Jair Alexander, he started the game and then went out. He just, with the knee, kind of flared up a little bit. He didn't feel like he could maneuver and do the things that he wanted to do out there. So we'll see how that progresses going into this game against the Niners. Xavier McKinney got super mad about a play, but, he'll bounce back. I think he's going to be great. Hopefully get a pick this week. We need to see him step up again. He started the season so hot, and now obviously teams are kind of probably trying to throw away from him, but a playmaker like him, he's going to get his when he can. So for the Packers, again, Brock Purdy coming off a tough week last week. He's going to look to bounce back. Christian McCaffrey is back with the Niners. Jordan Mason is a very suitable backup. He played really well in McCaffrey's absence. So they have kind of a 2-headed monster, and then Garendo and then Elijah Mitchell also. I don't know if Mitchell is back from his injury, but they do have a slew of running backs. And then obviously Deebo Samuel likes to run the ball. He's back from injury. Juwan Jennings had 10 catches for 91 yards last week in the Seattle game. Obviously Ricky Pearsall's back. He scored his first touchdown since being shot in a robbery in San Francisco or Oakland. And then obviously Kyle Juszczyk is the fullback, and George Kittle. Those guys are playmakers all the time. Kittle questionable, but he's probably going to play. Knowing Kittle, he's a tough guy. And then Trent Williams also questionable. He's probably going to play. He's a tough guy. And their offensive line, is solid. Obviously, it all starts with Trent Williams. It's going to be hard to get through his side, but hopefully we can scheme up some things, some pressures that get after Brock Purdy. And then on the defensive side of the ball, the Niners defense always scares me just because of the pieces they have. They have Fred Warner in the middle. Obviously, they put Leonard Floyd now on the outside, on the other side of Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa, coming off a little bit of a shakeup. He's kind of injured. We'll see how he bounces back. Obviously, Devondre Campbell, a name Packer fans will know. He was our all-pro middle linebacker a few years ago. He is in San Francisco now. And then Tre'Davious Ward should be back. And the who else? There's other corners. Lenore. He should be back too. So I don't think he was out. But those guys are players to watch for. And then obviously Mustafa on the back end at safety. He's a guy that always seems to be there when you don't want him to be. So this 49ers defense, continues to step up. They have Malik Collins in the middle, also at tackle. So there's a team that really is going to try to bounce back after a loss against Seattle. If they lose, I think they won against Seattle, but they're still 5-5. So a team that's 5-5, they're not going to want to lose to the Packers, because then that will make it 5-6 for them on the season. This is a really kind of a pivotal game for them, especially on the road. I think this is the second of a long road trip for them, or the first of a long road trip for them. And so the Packers, they need to come handle business, do what they need to do. Obviously, Jordan Love, hopefully we can stop these interceptions. We can cut down on some of those mistakes and keep running the football and start getting these playmakers a little bit more involved. I love seeing Watson step up, but I want to see Reed and Wicks do some more things. Obviously, Wobb's getting the fold. Not everybody's going to get their touches every game, so it's nice to see a guy really step up and do it big like Watson was able to do. But I want to see this defense continue to progress. Obviously, 49ers team, brings a lot of different angles on offense, and their defense has a lot of different pieces. So it's going to be important to stop Christian McCaffrey. Obviously, stop that running game. He hasn't got to 100 yards since getting back from injury. So hopefully the Packers can continue that trend, and then just keeping guys like Jennings and Deebo Samuel at bay. They don't have Brandon Ayuk. He's out on IR with the ACL. And so 49ers are looking a little bit different. I think the Packers can pounce on them this time. Move to 8-3. Go Pack Go. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Go Pack Go.